I'd like to tell you a little ditty written by Mr. Stephen Lurvey. Triple jumper bizarre. He didn't get very far. But bizarre, triple jumper extraordinaire, bounced just like a bowling ball and floated like a chair. And yet, despite these faults of his, he made it into our Olympic team by demand through a public vote and a Saturday night TV screen. Britain's Got Athletes, for some it was said, was just a hop, jump and step too far. But the audience simply fell in love with him, a disastrous Mr. Bizarre. They voted in their millions for our hero and athlete inept, guided by the hype that poured out in gallons from their HD TV set. Simon, the organizer, sneered, the OC in his pocket, pound signs in his widened eyes as they rolled about in their socket. His Botoxed face wore a permanent grin as the numbers were dialed in their millions to decide which numpty would win. The show's annoying presenters, the Geordies, Forehead and Shrimp, fired up the audience into voting for the wimp. The audience went absolutely crazy. The media totally berserk. For crying out loud, this man's an idiot. How's it ever going to work? But there he was on his big day, striving for finals qualification. Mr. Bizarre took in a deep, deep breath, as did the whole of the nation. In the tight, tight lycra of his tight, tight shorts, he didn't look at his best, as he rocked back and forth on his heels on the runway and puffed out his pigeon chest. But soon the spectators started clapping along to the triple jumper's beat as he launched his body forward upon nervous and leaden feet. His lycra stretched only a little as he dressed from the left to the right. Bad timing by the director as the camera zoomed in on a rather disturbing sight. Sprinting down the runway, pumping his arms and lifting his knees, he built a pace quite steadily, with his hair flowing back in the breeze. After 10 awkward strides, he launched into his hop, then leapt straight into his skip. He yelled and grimaced as he felt the draught of cold air, as his tight shorts started to rip. His Todger, his John Thomas, his Willie or his Wang, burst forth, announcing itself to the world with one almighty twang. Commentator Claire Balding was disgusted. Zubaka wore a grin. Colin Jackson looked rather disappointed, because he was pretty short and thin. Poor Bizarre's tempo was ruined. His legs stiffened with fear. The scoreboard exposed his personal best as the crowd let out a huge cheer. But he struggled on into the jump and stretched every muscle to rise, although the audience had lost interest in distance and were only focusing on size. The white flags went up. The jump was clean, whilst ironically obscene. There were no marks at all in the smooth new strip of plasticine. The tape measure came out quite quickly, the inches swiftly recorded, the whole thing becoming rather surreal, most definitely sordid. Poor Mr. Bizarre dusted down himself as he stood and raised erect. And how now he wished he'd only finished second and was unavailable to select. There was little one could say to him. No backslaps and words like chin up. Just a stitch in time saves 9, my friend, and stops you a cocking up. Thank you.